Alright, good morning y'all. So, if y'all watched my last video, y'all know that today is my last day of working at the job I've been working at for 8 months. And I kind of want to reflect on everything that I went through when I got this job. So, when I got this job, it was actually kind of crazy. So, how am I going to start off with? So, I got this job while I was in an abusive relationship, and I got this job like 3 weeks after I was in the hospital last year. And, at first, I did not like it. It sucked. Like, I could not stand this job when I first got it. So, it seemed like everybody was rude towards me. It was like I wasn't allowed to make a mistake. And this was the first time I ever had a job in a major city. You know, like, I grew up in a very tiny town for the last, 11 years. And when I got this job, it was just very different. It was a busy area. I had to work faster than I've ever worked in my life. And people often criticized me, made fun of me, just outright didn't like me in general. So that was a lot to go through after I got out of an abusive relationship. Or wait, like two to 3 weeks at that job, I was still in an abusive relationship, and then afterwards I wasn't, and I had gotten out of it. And even then, it still, it got a little bit better, a month after that, but there were still people, even the GM at the time, he was, so pissed off. I remember one time in particular, this was, the day before Thanksgiving. No. This was the day before Christmas. He literally got so mad at me, he screamed at me, all the way across from the kitchen. And even everybody that I was working with had to stop and look right at me, and they was like, hey, you don't let nobody talk to you like that. That's effed up. It was that bad. People would not stop talking about it. They was like, why would, don't let him treat you like that. You should say something. They was like, man, we were finna go say something. I was like, oh, well, I mean, I just got out of an abusive relationship, so, and they was like, well, that doesn't make it any better. So, afterwards, everything was going great. Eventually, people started noticing just how good I was at, doing what I was doing. And they was all, cheering me on after the fact. They was like, people looked up to me, even though I was mostly known as the girl that just got out of an abusive relationship. So people kind of felt pity on me. But in the end, people just started looking up to me, and they was like, she's strong. She got through all of that. And on top of that, she's taking care of her own household now. And it made me feel really good. It was the confidence that I never had. And honestly, if it wasn't for these people, I don't think I could have gotten through the process of trying to recover from an abusive relationship. I'll be perfectly honest, I think the PTSD, I've had PTSD since, it was diagnosed when I was 16, but honestly, I've had PTSD since I was a kid. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but the abusive relationship, it honestly boosted the PTSD symptoms. It made that PTSD that I thought I had recovered from, it actually made me realize I didn't recover from it at all. So, they really helped me out with that, and for that much, I'll forever be grateful. Now, let's get to the part where everything starts falling apart. Okay, so, 3 months into that job, I decided that I wanted to start working towards being a shift manager, just like I was at McDonald's. So, everybody knew I was working for it, and I specifically told the managers first that I wanted it, and they was all cheering me on. They believed in me. They was trying to do whatever they could to help me get there, and I even had a meeting with corporate about that. And there was a couple things I had to do before I could ever become one. So the first thing was to be cross-trained in every single position of that store. So it took like 3 months of me doing that, maybe 4. I basically spent all spring, you know, cross training into every position. Like, I literally knew how to run that store, aside from like all the manager privileges. Like, I knew how to do everything at that point. And it got to the point where I was a trainer, so I would train other people to do them positions too. So, you know, I'm steadily trying to work towards this position. And I want to say like a month ago, while I was training somebody, he told me that he had originally applied to be a shift manager. And I asked him, like, you know, why wasn't he just, you know, why didn't they have him in like manager classes? And he tells me that they wasn't hiring or considering anybody to be a shift manager because they didn't need him. I go to talk to my GM, and he tells me that they got rid of that position, and then he shows me a list of all the people that would be considered before me. So they had spent like 4 or 5 months or something like that, you know, encouraging me to be a manager and letting me go on working my ass off, only for someone else to tell me that it's never going to be, that they was never going to let me have that position. So right off the bat, that pissed me off tremendously, because like, y'all really encouraged me to do this, and I gave up a lot of my time. I was literally working 50 hours, like 45 to 50 hours a week, trying to get that position, and they was just going to let me work and keep working for it when they all knew that I was never going to be a shift manager. So that depressed me out a lot. And then once May hit, they cut my hours tremendously, so I was only getting like 20 hours at most after the fact. And just recently, I tried to beg them to give me my hours back, and I gave them all the reasons I had. You know, like, they know I'm taking care of my grandmother. They know I have bills to pay. And they, you know, I asked them, like, could y'all at least give me 35 hours? You know, that's me selling myself short. And they proceed to tell me, well, it's going to be really hard giving you 35 hours a week because we're trying to give everybody else hours. And then I talking to everybody else has got like 40 hours, 35 hours. I'm like, y'all can't even give, y'all are literally giving me 20 hours, and I'm on the top performers list, and obviously, you know, y'all are looking for any excuse not to give me back my hours. So that also pissed me off. And I mean, y'all know the rest, like, you know. But either way, I mean, it's cool. You know, I tried, y'all. I mean, the only reason why I got this job was just to make enough money to pay my bills. And then it got to the point where I couldn't even pay my bills. Like, it was that bad. So, you know, this is really heartbreaking. Like, most of my friends ain't even going to be there, and this is my last day. And quite frankly, I don't know when I'm just going to go back to this place. Like, I mean, I don't hate this place, so it's not like I'm angry to the point where they're never going to see me again. Like, I'm never going to go back to that store. That's not the case. Like, I'm going to go back, you know, but not to work. Like, today's my last day. I've already told them, like, there's, you know, they wanted to talk about it, but I'm just not, like, I'm not, there's only so many times I can beg for something, and if you can't do it, that's fine. I'm just gonna, you know, start looking for different options. So I did find another job, though, that I actually begin training tomorrow. I already went to work at this place once, and it was good. That's why I decided to go ahead and quit this one, because I can't work 2 jobs, y'all. With everything that's going on in my life and me trying to get, you know, certified in anything other than what I'm used to, you know, it's kind of hard. Honestly, I'm just trying to make some extra money, and it's not really about how much I get paid an hour. It's the fact, are you going to give me the hours? Like, you know, I don't care if you're going to pay me $2.50 an hour. I don't care if you're going to pay me $13 an hour. I want something sustainable. $13 an hour is nothing if you're only going to be making like 15 hours that week. Like, now, making $2.50 an hour, working 40 hours, and you rely on tips, now that's seems like you can make a little more money doing that way. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe, you know, that my biggest worry is I feel like I make a mistake. Like, but at the same time, you gotta take risks, and I don't think I've ever taken any major risks in my life. Honestly, like, doing this schooling thing feels like a major risk too. Like, I worry that even if I get this, that it's not going to be beneficial. Like, I worry about not getting jobs. I worry about struggling. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to be dependent on nobody, you know. I don't want to be in this situation. And, you know, sometimes you have to quit the job that you care about in order to make ends meet, because I love the people I work with right now at this job I'm quitting. But in the end, I mean, these people have their own lives, nothing personal, you know, like, everybody's got their own thing to handle, and, like, in the end, we're all just trying to make a living, like, and it might be the last time I ever see these people, might not, you know, I might see them again. I mean, it's just sad because I went through so much for this job, and for all this to happen, and just, I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm genuinely just trying to make a living right now. I don't care what all I have to do to make a living. Like, life is just hard, but I'm gonna remain optimistic because everybody goes through it. I understand everybody has to go through a rough patch, and honestly, I love talking to you guys because I don't get judgment from y'all. Like, it's kind of hard to talk about this with anybody else because people don't really, it's like people go through it, but they don't know how to cope with it, and they don't know how to respond to someone else saying that they're going through it. Like, if that makes any sense. It's just, people aren't always understanding as they seem. But if there's one thing that I'm never going to do again that I learned from this job is, please, everybody that is watching, do not ever give up the best of yourself for any job. Like, I mean this, y'all. Like, I understand we have we have hustle culture. So if you don't know what hustle culture is, it's basically where you want to work like 80 to 100 hours a week. Like, you only want to work. You want to just keep working, and you want to get paid more too. Like, you want to, you know, be working 100 hours, making $30 an hour. Like, that's hustle culture. Like, you just want to keep working. You want to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I'm like, I'm not into that, y'all. Like, I don't want to work over 50 hours a week unless, you know, if you're gonna pay me the money to work over 50 hours a week, then hell yeah, let's go for it. But honestly, I don't get why people do it. Like, I don't see why people, I mean, I get you have to, and most people don't actually want to, but then there's people out there that genuinely just want to work, and I've met people that just want to work, and I mean, I'm just not that person. I'm not gonna say it's bad, because I mean, who's gonna get mad at somebody that wants to make money? Like, you know, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't get mad at people for that. But, like, I mean the fact that you just want to give up your entire life simply to go to work and make money. And think about it. When you make that money, you just gonna spend it all anyway. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you work thinking you're making all that money, but really you're not. So, that's kind of where that's where my headspace is at. Like, I don't want to have multiple jobs. I just want one job that's going to give me the hours that I need, and then I want to go home. Like, I don't want to give up my life for that job. Like, I just don't want to deal with it, y'all. I'm trying to fix my hairline. Like, I'm actually gonna put my hair up in like a ponytail or something. Like, maybe a half pony. I don't know. I'm literally going to work for 4 hours today, y'all. Like, I'm used to working 9-hour shifts. Like, they had me, like, for 5 days a week working 9-hour shifts. Like, it's hard, y'all. Like, I'm literally really, I know it doesn't look like it right now, but I'm really emotional. I'm emotional. I'm really nervous. It's really hard, y'all. Like, I made friends on this job. I met good people, and I got really good advice. And like I said, if it wasn't for these people that I did meet, I probably wouldn't have gotten through like I did, because there was only so much more I really could take, you know. I went through a lot with this job. Went through a lot of bullshit with this job too, so. I'm just trying to straighten up my hair. I'm just gonna leave it down right now, you guys, and like, I don't put no hairspray on it. I don't use no heat. As a matter of fact, I noticed that whenever I try to blow dry this hair, it makes the frizz come back like 10 times worse. So I haven't shown you guys what I started doing, and I'm about to end the video because I tend to get off topic, but I invested in some leave-in conditioner and some hair serum, which I'm actually almost halfway through the hair serum, so I'm definitely gonna have to go buy some. Like, I just got this like a week. No, it's like 1 week ago. But I mean, my hair is really thick, so. Honestly, the leave-in conditioner and the hair serum is what saved my hair tremendously. And it's also about how you layer your products too, so there's that. But, here. I'm probably gonna get my boyfriend to pay for some more. You see that? Oh, well, this is still good. But, anyways, I hope y'all have a good day, a good Monday. Like, I don't know, it's Monday, but